Hello, Karan. Go ahead, Karan.
Yeah, so the motivation for me is to, upskill my career.
No, okay. Little bit about background about you.
I have worked as an software tester before.
Okay,
So right now I want to move towards DevOps.
okay, okay. All right. Anybody else, guys? So we have somebody from testing background. Anybody else?
I'm Saujanya.
Go
Hello.
ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah. Go
You
ahead.
know, I had experience in testing side like performance testing. Currently, I'm in USA, so I want to change my stream. Like I want to change my role, so that's why I want to learn DevOps.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Anybody else, guys? The reason I'm asking is so that I understand the kind of composition that we have for today's demo, and I can streamline it according to you know the kind of background we come from. Harish,
Hi,
Krishna, Sai. Yeah.
yeah, I have one. Yeah, any prerequisite is required for this one? Actually, I am Madhusudan. I
Hmm.
am working as a Java developer. Just I need to upgrade my upskill for this one DevOps.
Hmm.
Any
Okay.
prerequisite of things required
Okay.
to do the things?
Okay. Okay. I'll answer that. All right. Go ahead, guys. Anybody else now? You can ask a question like this also, guys. Okay. So that I'll answer that. Vinay, Ramesh, Hemant, Sujit, Himali, Abdul, Karan, Sai. Anybody else, guys? Little quick. Even if you have a question, also you can ask. Okay. So I think uh, what we'll do is let me little bit explain to you what DevOps is. Okay. Then I think you guys can ask your questions. Okay. I'll make it short so that I don't really bore you guys too much. See, this DevOps concepts, our DevOps practice, you we probably started hearing it very in a profound way from last 5 years. Uh, Somewhere around 2014 or 15 onwards more, but it started really getting more in terms of adoption and other things from 16, 17 and that time. And nowadays, you go to any company, you'll find a DevOps team. So, what is this DevOps is? See, at a broader level, see the whole idea is that this is basically a concept. What this concept says is, see how can we make uh, you know developers in a company and operation guys in a company work as one team is all what DevOps is. So the idea is to make sure or to try to build a kind of a culture and those things so that developers and operation guys can work as one team. That is the whole point of DevOps. So how do you set your culture and how do you manage your projects and all that? It's the second thing. Okay. What we'll have to really understand is that at a technical level, what do you do as a DevOps guy, or what does this DevOps whole thing translate when you actually start implementing DevOps? So let's try to understand that. Okay? See, as I told you, the intention is that we want these developers and these operation guys to work as one team. That is the whole motto. So, what is the meaning of that is for before this kind of DevOps kind of practice and other things, It is almost the way that operation guys used to and the developers used to work in a kind of a complete silo kind of stuff, right? Because the kind of mindset, the kind of tools that developers use is completely different kind from the mindset and the tools that operation guys uses, right? So how do you make sure that both of them use a similar kind of a tools and have at least that similar kind of mentality or a mindset so that they can work closely right from the starting of the project? That is a whole idea. When I say operation guys, these are the guys who will maintain your infrastructure. So who are those guys? Your Linux admins or your Unix admins, your Windows admins, your storage admins, your security guys, your DBAs, okay, your networking guys, and all these guys comes under operation teams. Right? The purpose of having these teams is to set up an infrastructure and maintain that infrastructure. When I say infrastructure here, broadly, I'm using that term, but what I mean is set up your server, set up your network, set up your storage, and these guys manage it. And when I use the word developer here, I mean developers as well as even your testers also. Okay, so developers as well as your QA, QC, all this comes under this category. The job of these guys is to build the application. So these guys build the application, these guys build the infrastructure, and this application will be deployed onto the infrastructure. That is what is the general flow, right? You build application, you put it on your servers and start accessing it. So what is to happen for a long time is that these guys, keep building the application and they will be developing it right the time when they have to actually deploy the application. Deploy is basically just copying your application onto the server. They say, hey, we need to put it on servers, so can you please do so and so things. These guys will do it and your application they'll deploy it. After that you start noticing a lot of things coming saying that, oh, my application was working fine when I was testing it on some other environment, or my application was doing great but now when I put it in production the performance has gone down, and all this kind of post deployment lot of issues used to come. Just the fact that from initial days only never that kind of conversation really ever happened. The fact is this, they were completely different in terms of thinking and terms of approaching the problem. So what DevOps concept says is that try to make it that way that both of them can start working right from starting together. But that is where the challenge comes, guys. See, what is that a developer or a QA or a QC guys does? Uh, they'll write a code for application. Right? Now that it's not that one guy will sit and write the whole code. So you have a group of people who will collaborate and build the code. Right? So what they'll do, this code, they'll put it somewhere in a repository. For now, take it easy. Whoever are new, repository is nothing but a kind of a place where you put your code so that multiple people can update it. So they write the code, then the testers will come in, they'll test it. And if they feel that the application is working the way it is expected, then they will then you again then what you do is you deploy your application. So what is deploy? Deploy is nothing but copying your application onto your main server so that external your actual customers can start accessing it. So the whole development process is nothing but only for write it. Of course, you have to put it so that multiple people can collaborate, write it, test it, and deploy it. Right? Only these three things, irrespective of what kind of development tool or a language you are using it, this is what you do. Whereas these guys, what they, if you take a Linux admin, what do? They'll set up servers, they'll install OS, they'll create users, okay, they'll create or add your storages, they'll do your networking part and all that. Here, what the challenge used to come is here for a long time for the operation guys, the challenge used to be that majority of the things they used to do it manually. But over a period of time, little bit of automation used to happen. But that automation also more using some kind of scripting technologies and all that. Um, so what I mean by do it manually is that, see, imagine today my manager comes to me and tells me, by the way, my name is Ravi, guys, and I forgot to introduce myself. I have around 18 years of experience. I think I'm coming close to 19. Um, and I do work as a senior technical architect, and I was a guy who actually started this whole DevOps in Visualpath, 5 years back. In between, for 2 3 years, I got busy with other things. I didn't do a lot of trainings, and it's, I think, from last month or so I started doing it again. Right. Anyways, see, today my manager comes to me and tells me, Ravi, there is a project going on. They want an Oracle server. Okay. Then I asked my manager, okay, let's talk to that Linux guys and ask them to give us a machine where, let's say, the Linux is already installed. Now, to install Oracle database, just an example I'm taking this. Okay. To install the Oracle database in my company, what we have is we have a very good document of how to do the installation. Some 20 points are there. So I take that document and all the 20 steps I'll do it. So what is the end result? End result is my this is my Oracle server ready. I'll tell to my manager, just hand it over to that team who wants it. This is done. After a week, again he gets a requirement that one more Oracle server is required by one more team. So let's say, in my team, Nipun is also there. So next week he'll tell Nipun, hey Nipun, just set up the Oracle server. So for him also a machine is created, okay? A Linux, let's say it's a Linux machine. Even he is also using the same document and he'll also do the 20 steps and the Oracle server will be ready. The big challenge with this kind of an approach is, even if I and Nipun follow the same document to do the installation, there is no guarantee that we'll do it exactly the same. And I guarantee, two people do the same thing with some 20 steps. There is no guarantee you both will do it exactly same. Somewhere when it is not working, people would have little bit changed the command here and he got this working. Ravi would have done some change here and got it working. Okay. So what used to happen is, when people were doing things like this manually, so there is an application, we have given this Oracle server, they tested it on this database, the server, they felt that everything is great. Tomorrow they want to run the application here, assuming that it went great. Here also they'll think it will work great, and later they'll notice that the system is slow, database is slow, something not working, and all that. The reason is there might be some kind of a drift, some kind of a little bit change in the configurations where it is working great here and it is not working that great here. Imagine just an example of two servers itself, we start getting a lot of dots. So two systems not same, then it's a big problem. And for operation guys, the big challenge is that anything you set up across your company, you should set it up in such a way that it is exactly same. Only then you can tell with confidence that, guys, if it is working on this system, then 100% your application also has to work on other systems. When you are very very confident that these two are exactly same, only then you can make that statements. Not only that, later if you want to do some kind of updates or upgrades and all that, if you find a solution to upgrade one system, same solution you can implement it on rest all systems in your company, because everything is same. Otherwise what will happen, You will do upgrades or something on this system. You think it is working fine, and you tell to your management that okay, this weekend I'll do it for here. And when you start doing it here, you'll start noticing a lot of problems. Just the fact that these two are not identical. You assume that it will be work fine, but that's not happening. Okay. So what is the challenge is? The challenge is that you have to make sure whatever you set up, it is exactly same. So you set up an Oracle server in your company, 100 Oracle servers are there. Make sure that all the 100 it is exactly same, right? But that never used to happen, and that is why you see a lot of support things and a lot of issues coming in. Okay? So that is one problem which is always there. Now let's me come back to here. So these guys are doing all these things. Now that I want even operation guys and development team to work like same thing, it's a big problem for me. The reason is these people keep on talking about writing a code, and these people keep talking about creating servers, storage, network, and all that. So how do you make sure that these two think alike? So what this DevOps model has prescribed is, see, how about this? Let these guys whatever they are doing, okay, let us leave it here. This is good. Let them do it like this. What we will do is all the operation guys. What we will do is operation guys. Whatever they are telling, we will tell them that no more do the things manually, but whatever you want to do for that, write the code. The way developers write code for the application, similarly you write the code for your infrastructure. And this code is what is called as IAC, infrastructure as code. The way developers maintain a repository to put their code, you also put a repository. You put your code so that people can see it and collaborate. The way application people test the code, you also test your code. So from the operation side, this is the new change that has come in the DevOps model. No more doing things manually. Whatever you want to do, write a code for it. Okay. So it means at a psychological level, what you are telling is you are telling operation guys also to work like a developer, think like a developer. Do the thing what you are doing. Installing server is great. Do that, but you do it like with a developer mindset. What is a developer mindset? Write a code for it. So the way developers are writing a code, even operation people are also writing code. The way they manage their code by using a repository and other things, even operation guys also doing that. The way people you are testing the application here also, you are asking them to test your infrastructure. So what is that we got it with this approach? We are in a position now where everyone is thinking alike. Developer is also thinking of writing a code for application. Operation guys are thinking of writing a code for the infrastructure. No more manual stuff. With this approach, what will happen is if this whole installation of Oracle, these 12 steps, what I will do is let's say I'll just create one file and all the 12 steps I'll put it here. Okay. And I'll say this is my code for setting up Oracle. If my manager comes and asks me, Ravi, can you set up an Oracle for me? I will not log into the server and run these 20 steps. Instead, this code, what I have written, I'll run it on the server. What is the end result? Your Oracle server is ready. Later, after a week, if my manager asks me again to set up an Oracle server and this time Nipun is doing it, he will also not do it manually. He will also run this code. Now, whether I run the code or Nipun run the code, the end result will be same because there is no human intervention. Right? You see this now, the beauty of this. You want to do any setup in your company, you write a code, and irrespective of who in your team runs the code, the end result will be same. So, with a guarantee, I can vouch that if 100 servers of Oracle we set up, I can tell with sure that all the 100 servers will be same. Why? There is no human intervention. Everything is this code. That is a big change what will happen from the operations perspective in a DevOps model. No more logging and doing things manually. You will have to write down a code for it. Now you'll get it out, Ravi. See, the operations team in our company. We are not very comfortable writing. We are not comfortable with programming and all that. Then how? Naturally, right? You can't expect your all the guys to sit and learn programming and all that stuff. So what they have done is they have come up with some very very simple to use kind of a tools, and those tools uh, are the tools like your Ansible and Terraform. These are such a simple kind of a tools that anybody and everybody can do it. Okay? In the course, of course, these are the two things which we are doing. And nowadays in industry, any company you go, you will see people using these tools. Now, if you ask me, Ravi, how are you saying that this is are so simple that anybody can write a code in that? See, the reason is these tools, these DevOps tools, these all are basically declarative languages. What is a declarative language is? In declarative language, you just need to tell what you want. You don't need to tell how to do it. Unlike our traditional programming languages like your Java, Python, .NET and all that, where you need to literally write and tell how to do it, and you need to know your oops concept and all that, right? Here you don't need any concept, no programming language is required. Just you should learn how to write a simple code using these tools, and which is pretty easy. Okay, because it is declarative style, you don't need to write any logics and all that. But whatever you want, how do you put it in a script? You should learn how to do it, and that is what we'll do it as a part of the course. Okay, so from the operation side, the main thing that will happen for DevOps is this. From the development side, only thing what they have prescribed is these deployments. What used to happen in a long time in a lot of companies, I myself, it's like a huge experience what I've seen. We used to do deployments. Deployment means there is application running, you change your application. Okay, you updated something, you want to deploy it now. It's not that you do it application change today, tomorrow we deploy it. We generally do it once in a month or once in 2 months, like that. With that, what happens, any change you do it, it will at least minimum take 1 month to update it, right? Which is not really good in today's market, where your competitors are doing changes so fastly, and you say that my change will come after 1 month. In the 1 month, this guy will take away your market also. So what this DevOps says is this. See, basically any application, what happens is you write your code. You write your code. After that, you'll build your code. Build is nothing but it's a kind of, you'll create executable form of your code. Then you will deploy it. These are the only thing that will happen in any kind of application deployment. So what in DevOps, what it says is, see, try to build a kind of system where this you now, let's say these developers are building or updating the code here. Okay, try to put a system where the moment somebody updates the code, it should immediately build it. Once it immediately builds it, it should immediately deploy it also, and it should happen very freely. No need of any manual intervention and those things. This part of anybody does a change, it should immediately build your code, is called as continuous integration. Once it is built, automatically to deploy it, it is called as CIC. It is called CD. But there are caveats here. It's not that every company, that the moment any developer changes, it immediately builds and immediately deploys. You need a certain level of maturity for those things to happen. But at least you need to have the systems in place. Okay? What it is saying is, instead of doing these two things manually, building and deploying in a general context which people used to do it, in DevOps, what will happen is this deployment model, you will set up this CI/CD stuff. So in short, whole of DevOps at an implementation level, or at implementation, only two things that happens is this. One is IAC, infrastructure as code. And other thing is CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment. These are the only things that will happen. Is so before DevOps and after DevOps, the company when once they start, they are using the DevOps model. What they mean is this: that everything in the infrastructure they have written a code for it, and all the application deployment they are using CI/CD. So this is what the whole DevOps is. But nowadays, what is happening is it's not that just that you learn it on the physical servers how to do it. You need to know how to work on cloud, okay? And you need to know even one cutting edge technology now, which people use it day in day out in a lot of companies, including the major companies or enterprise companies called containers. So what we are doing in the syllabus is that this DevOps we are trying to do with these things. How to do it on AWS cloud, even containerization. Here we are talking about Kubernetes and all that stuff. And even if direct physical servers are given to you, how do you use your tools like Ansible and all that to do your automation? We are covering. So that is basically in a nutshell what the whole DevOps is. So you'll be learning primarily about ISC and CI/CD in a different context. Uh, of course, I knew Kubernetes and other things are basically container kind of technology. That is the additional thing we'll be focusing on. Did it make sense, guys? What I said? In short, I think that is what the whole DevOps is about. And now I'll answer the question uh, what is this? Madhusudan has asked. Madhusud, do we need anything for to learn this course? No. Uh, so basically, little bit of Linux is required. Not to the level of a Linux administrator, but Linux knowledge is required. Uh, I will start it with Linux. I'll do the few sessions on Linux, but initial few days you'll have to put little bit more effort and do little bit more practice. Okay, all that is required is little bit of Linux, nothing else. So that anyways we'll do it in the class. It's just that you need to put little bit of effort more if you are completely new. Other than that, there is no requirement. Tools like an Ansible and other things, even if you are a developer also, you have to learn it completely. It is in fact good if they are somebody new, that they can learn it much more easier. And it is very easy, guys, to learn these tools. There is no big logic or anything. It's just that you need to know a format of how you have to write this code. All right. Any other questions? Yes. Did it make sense, guys? What I explained, or it was overboard and okay. All right. If it is good, then great. Any questions you have, guys? Anyone? Sachin, Sindhu, Ravi, Krishna, Surya, Latif, Sushil, Amitabh.
Yeah, hi Ravi. I have one question. How many days completed this course? Maybe. Actually, I'm working somewhere. So when the time is flexible or any changes or sometimes.
No, see, generally, because we fix the time 8 to 9, right? So it will be that only. We don't change the time. Only sometimes I might ask you for some weekend time. That also not. If I'm thinking I'm running short of, or running slow on the syllabus, maybe I'll ask you on the weekends, 2 weekends, Saturday,
Okay,
Sunday, same time
okay,
we can
Ravi.
do.
No problem. Weekends. Weekends, no problem.
Hi
On a
Ravi, I have
regular
a couple of
That's
questions.
Krishna, on a regular day, for me also it is not possible. So we have to stick to 8 to 9 only.
yes, sir.
Yeah, Abdul,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi Ravi.
Thank
Sorry
you.
to interrupt. Yeah, I'm also coming from QA background, and
Yeah.
the take from this course is to like learn DevOps, take my career in upskill.
Okay.
But my question is, are we going to be receiving any recording session? Let's say in case if we miss any session or like.
No, Abdul, it is like this. Of course, you will have to get it. Otherwise, because we do so many topics, we are covering it. If you don't have a recording, okay, after a month or so, when you want to go for an interview and you want to practice it,
Correct.
it will not be possible, right? Of course, you'll have to get it,
Yes.
and you'll get, and
Yes.
yeah, you'll get it, right? Yeah.
Okay. And
You
you'll be
just check
providing
with.
us.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
No, no. Front office would have told you that right after everyday class, they'll send you a video recording.
Okay. 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 Sounds good. And you will also provide us with the interview preparation and resume preparation, right? After the course.
See, interview and resume preparation, the way, at least the way we do it, is that the whole course will do it as a story. Okay?
Okay.
So, so generally, what I do is, of course, you ask the front office, they'll give you 100 copies of resumes. Okay? But generally, what I tell to everyone is that, see, this is a whole course is like a story. You understand the story. Then just put each. So many topics are there. Each topic, one point you put also, your resume points will become more than 10. So I tell them one topic, one line, let's write it down, articulate it in your own way so that you get that feel. Otherwise, just getting a resume points, you ask front office, they'll give it to you. Okay. So the point I'm trying to say is just take it easy. Okay. Resume and other things, whatever you learn, you should just type it and put it off. You should not try to see, there is no actual way or of putting, okay, resume has to be like this. Anyways, that's a
Oh,
different theory. But yeah, resume points, I think it's pretty straight, right?
okay. And interview
Front
preparation
office.
also, like we will.
See, interview preparation, the whole course itself is like an interview thing up till because there is no some. I think at least when I do it. What I see is that every topic when we do then the kind of questions people are ask itself is like an interview stuff. So interviews, I think it should be pretty straightforward. But any specific things you want, once you just check with the front office. Okay? But I think that's fine
Okay.
because we do
Okay. Just
so
wanted
many
to.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because we do so much that I don't think you need it anything separately. But once just have a word with them because they maintain a lot of these things like different questions and all that. Just in case if that is what gives you a little bit more confidence, just have a talk with the front office case.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
Hello, Savinya here. Can you hear me?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How many days it will take to complete the course?
So then, yeah, see, I need at least uh, at least 40 to 50 days minimum. Okay, 50 sessions.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll try to finish off in 50 sessions or so, but
Okay.
put a buffer of 10 sessions at least more. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so
Can we get?
in case I
Yeah.
take more, don't complain. Uh, but I'll see. But at least 40 to 50 for sure.
Okay, fine.
And it cannot be less than that. It has to be more. But let's see. Generally,
Fine.
anybody asks me this question, I say 40, 50. But you need to put a buffer of 10 to 15 hours here and in the upper side, in case
Mm-hmm.
we sometimes go slow and all that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. So after the course, can we get the certification AWS like that? What is the process?
See, AWS certification, you will have to write it,
Okay.
or if whether you're writing AWS or Kubernetes or all those things, these are not something which is given by the institute. You will have to write it.
Uh-huh.
So that depends, whether you want to go. See, certifications are okay, important, but yeah, it's not that you have to do it right away. I would suggest
Mm-hmm.
that in case the whole point is you want to get into a job, then the immediate thing after the course is you should apply for a you should upload your resume.
I have minimum knowledge and recruiting. So many requirements getting need to certifications. That's why I just
Okay.
give a
Yeah.
what.
No, if certification is there, then of course you can plan for that. But I'm saying, if there is, you're not very sure that uh, I mean, not sure. Not sure is not the right statement, but if the whole point is to getting into a job, even if you're getting certified, also you should upload your resume for sure.
Yeah,
Reason is you
some
should go and
companies,
attend it.
some companies they don't have experience. They are asking first that certifications like that.
Okay. Sajjan, how about this? For certification, this thing. See, nobody. This you have to go and write it outside. Uh, but just once have a talk with front office if they have anything they can help you out. But they, in fact, they cannot do anything. You have to go to a prometric center, or even from home, you can write the certification. AWS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This course is only on AWS, not in Azure.
No. Only on AWS.
Okay.
Yeah. See, the reason is the intention here is also not AWS or anything. The intention here is to teach DevOps and one cloud
Okay.
platform. So, which cloud
Okay.
to teach? Should we teach it on Azure? Should we teach it on AWS, or should we teach it on GCP? So, when all the three are by and large same, okay. So, when you have to teach something and there are multiple options for that, the general thing is you try to take who is the market leader in that, and we try to learn that.
Okay.
Azure is picking up, but AWS is the market leader. So what we felt is okay, let's train everyone on AWS. Reason is AWS is much more matured, and you understand AWS. Rest all cloud platforms are pretty much, in the same way you can learn it off. AWS
Okay.
has much more kind of services. In that sense, we have
Okay.
put it. But the
Okay.
tools, whatever are there, like Ansible, Terraform, and all that, you can use it on Azure also. Same way.
Okay. So, do we have any touch with like in this course database or like MySQL or
See,
Python?
we don't really have to do anything with DBS database stuff. The reason is DevOps has nothing to do with database as such. But one application where we'll be deploying and doing it, there will explain you about what MySQL is and all that. But you don't need to know any database or anything.
Okay, fine. So, okay.
And by the way, guys, anything additional things you require and other things, you please have a quick one talk with the front office. I mean, Sriveni or whoever is dealing with you, they she does maintain a lot of stuff. So anything outside the course, just do have a kind of word with her.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
One more question. This is only 1 hour class, like 8 to 9.
Yes, 1 hour. We, we every day 1 hour we will do. In case I'm getting very slow, then on weekends maybe I'll take some two hours kind of class. But 1 hour on spot we'll do it. It should be okay. It should be fine. Anything more than that, it will become too much for you guys you know to get it. So 1 hour is good to understand stuff.
Yeah, fine.
Any questions, guys? Anyone else?
Hi Ravi, I
Ravi,
have
this is
one.
Harish.
Yeah, Harish, go ahead.
Uh, I, from what I heard, like many of them are from QA background, right? And DevOps is not only more into like development operations. Is there anything around this area where we can also implement DevOps? Because like in my olden days, I used to write Selenium scripts for the web UI the developers develop and then store it in like visual code checkout check-in process. I forgot the
Mhm.
tool name now with GitHub came in. So I'm trying to still understand like what can be done over there, or is it only purely for development and operations?
No, are you saying that how can you leverage your experience which you had it on Selenium here? Is that the question?
No, like So you mentioned that DevOps, like developer will write something and we need to automate using some script into production. Like there is one more step in between also, right? Like QA who needs to validate the code before shipping it to production. So
I did put it
is
right. Yeah.
okay. So is there anything like within what the test also can we do with like a part of CI/CD or using
Yeah, yeah,
DevOps?
yeah. Absolutely. No, see, when I say CI/CD, see, by the way, whatever I have written here, it has nothing to do with DevOps. I was just taking a general context what development teams does. Okay, even today, what they are doing 10 years back, that only they are doing. Only thing what is happening now is, Harish, whatever Selenium things and other things you are telling, which you are doing it manually. In the CI/CD, what we are doing is we are tagging up everything in one structure so that one event happens, rest all will automatically happen. So in a way, we are automating that also.
Okay, it's more like a chain process. So one step
Like a
completes, go
chain
to the
process.
next.
Correct, 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 correct. So for that, you use, you probably would have used it. We will do a little bit on Jenkins. Then on AWS also, they have their own build servers and that. So that we'll learn it. So what is happening nowadays is when a company is running completely on AWS, even their build servers, everything they are using AWS services only. In that
Mhm.
context also, it is very important. And by the way,
Okay.
whatever flow I have written it here, I'm not saying anything specific for DevOps. This is what was happening from many, many years and what will happen even now also. All that I'm saying is this one, this deployment, we are going to make it much more efficient with the CI/CD and all that stuff. Here, whatever they are doing, still they do, but the approach is rather than doing manually, they'll do it
Through automated fashion.
to an automated fashion. So your Selenium and all that will still be there. The only thing is that we'll put it in a kind of a fashion where an event happen, the whole chain based on your conditions, it happens. So that you don't need to do it each and individual thing in a manual way.
Okay, okay. And one more question. So now you are going to use AWS throughout the process, right? So what I do today is like if I need a virtual machine, I go to my builds and release engineering team, and they currently maintain the infrastructure. So I ask them for a virtual machine and they give it to me like after 2 days. So in
Okay.
this course, you are going to teach us like how to automate that process using AWS, or how to create a infrastructure for the requests that we get in from various teams, like how to automate that
There are
request
two
creation
things.
process. Or
See, there are two things. One is if you want to automate it, you should first know how to do it manually. Right?
okay. Hmm.
So we'll
Yeah.
start it how to create it manually. Then we'll how easily you can automate it using a tool like Terraform. So in fact, the way I do it is I was doing a class just before your stuff. So initially, for a week or so, I'll make every one of you create a VMs on your desktop.
Hmm.
Then from here, we'll get onto your AWS one. Okay? Then I'll say, oh, your VMs are here, but your VM should be, let's create your VMs here and let's manage it. So this is what. Then I tell you, the way we created is manual. If you have to automate it, how you have to do it. So like that, we'll go in a step by step way,
Okay.
one step.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Ravi. Yeah. No more questions.
All right, yes. If no one has a question, then I think we'll wind it up. And any questions you have, guys, if you want to speak, any one-on-one, just talk to the front office guys, right? So make clear all your questions, and hopefully, let's see you from I think Wednesday or so. I think I don't know tomorrow or Wednesday. Hopefully, I see you there. All right, guys. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Talk to you. Thanks,
Thank you.
thanks.
Good night,
Yeah,
guys.
sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.